I don't know if you've been seeing it on your social medias, but I've been seeing it on my social medias about the violence from the left, the violence from the left, the violence from the left. When, you know, the shooter was a registered Republican. Yes, as a 17-year-old, he gave $15 to a Democratic cause, but he was a registered Republican who, all of the people who knew him at school when they were doing thought exercises about politics, he always went to the conservative side. So I don't know how they get the left is so violent. One of the ways they're getting there is talking about the rhetoric. I know you're spitting your tea out. It's a double take. The rhetoric of the left leading to what's happened. So let's have a look at a little bit of that, because this is important for us to know, and it's important for us to be able to push back about should we need to. So I watched Piers Morgan's stuff today, and he had on Facts Don't Care About Feelings, Ben Shapiro, but he plays a piece, a mashup, I think he calls it, of the left, quote unquote, the left, referencing Donald Trump as Hitler. And he says it, the left have to stop calling Donald Trump Hitler. All right, I'll play it first and then we'll continue on. So this is Piers Morgan's evidence for how all of the left call Donald Trump Hitler.
I've got a mashup here of people on the left calling Trump Hitler. Let's take a look.
All right, people on the left calling Trump Hitler.
Many are openly comparing Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler.
Trump's been compared to the German
that was many are comparing. Right? That wasn't him saying it.
Dictator by some throughout his presidential campaign.
That person's not doing it.
Is Donald Trump really a fascist?
Maria Chappelle Nadal posted this picture to Twitter yesterday. It appears to compare Donald Trump to Hitler.
Former President Trump doubles down on a phrase many say he borrowed from Hitler.
President
borrowed a phrase from Hitler, necessarily comparing him to Hitler.
Fantasyland decided to take a page out of Adolf Hitler's playbook last week.
Yes, Donald Trump took his Hitler cosplay to the next level.
Do you want to clear the air because you think you're being unfavorably compared to Donald Trump?
A unified Reich? That's Hitler's language. That's not America's.
New York's Daily News ran this front page earlier this week. Trump is Hitler.
According to the Washington Post, Trump has long toyed with the language of fascists.
Former President Donald Trump allegedly praised Adolf Hitler, saying the Nazi leader had, quote, done some good things.
So in all of that, yes, there were some people who said he is Hitler. Most of that was saying things like they're comparing him to Hitler. Some are, he's using the language of Hitler. There was some in that. Now, there was one person in there that you may not know, Maria Chappelle Nadal, or Chappelle Nadal. She used to be a politician. According to this, she hasn't been a politician since 2021. Because that's also really important to remember. Let's just give baby his bottle, and let's just say that there's a comparison, putting him in Hitler's camp. Who said it in all of those clips? Commentators, comedians, shock jocks, podcasters, announcers, right? People who are talking about what people are talking about. But what isn't there in there? There's no politicians doing it. The point they're making is if you compare someone to Hitler for long enough, a deranged person might go, I'm going to take them out, because of course you'll take out Hitler. I have to ask you this question, people. If you knew someone was a pedophile or a groomer, couldn't you make the same argument? If you convince someone for long enough that such and such is a groomer or such and such is a pedophile, isn't that exactly the same thing? You've just seen Piers Morgan's best case scenario mashup for people comparing Donald Trump to Hitler. I'm now going to play you something we played last night. And guess who's doing the same from the right? It's not just the commentators and stuff. It's people in Congress. It's people in the Senate. You know who else it is? It's the presumptive, is that the right word? Potential deputy vice president of the United States of America, J.D. Vance. So you've just seen the left be represented by commentators, podcasters, comedians, announcers. And now let's see the right and how they portray the left with words that, if taken by a deranged person, could lead to violence.
There have been a number of Republicans who, without skipping a beat, have exploited these events to attack Joe Biden or the Democrats. Mike Collins, a Republican lawmaker from Georgia, tweeted, "Joe Biden sent the order." Marjorie Taylor Greene wrote, "We are in a battle between good and evil. The Democrats are the party of pedophiles, murdering the innocent, unborn, violence and bloody, meaningless and endless wars."
Pedophiles, murderers, endless walls. Surely a deranged person could take those words and go, we must do something to stop these people at all costs. Of course we want to stop a pedophile. You know, of course, we have to do that.
The Democrat Party is flat out evil, and yesterday they tried to murder President Trump. J.D. Vance wrote, "Today is not just some isolated incident. The central premise of the Biden campaign is that President Donald Trump is an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all costs."
Hang on. Piers Morgan just put up an issue that people were calling Donald Trump a fascist, like podcasters, comedians, and announcers. Here is Donald Trump's running partner calling Joe Biden a fascist. I thought this was what led to the potential shooting of Donald Trump, when all those comedians and podcasters and citizens, but what if the people in the halls of power are actually saying those things?
That rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination. And of course, Lauren Boebert posted this.
I do believe that Joe Biden is responsible.
What you'll enjoy most from this, people, is her eyes darting off when she has to read her script again because she can't speak a straight sentence. You watch her eyes shoot off to the left of the screen as I look at reading the script.
For the shooting today, Kyle Clark, an innocent supporter of President Trump, someone who loved President Trump and was there exercising their right to support him, lost their life today. Everyone who has called him a fascist, everyone who has called him a threat to democracy, who said that he should be put in a bullseye, as Joe Biden said, they need to have some very deep reflection tonight before another tragedy like this takes place.
There you go. So everyone who called him things like Hitler and a fascist, she didn't say Hitler, but a fascist, and even though Piers Morgan did his best to try and smear the left, calling him Hitler, but didn't use any examples of politicians, there is certainly one person who did call Donald Trump Hitler, and that's his fucking running mate. J.D. Vance called him America's Hitler. So if we're looking at everybody who's used these kinds of words against Donald Trump as somewhat responsible for what happened to Donald Trump, or with the shooting, then J.D. Vance has to be on that list by nature because he called him America's Hitler. These are the things we need to know, people. These are the things we need to know.